Quality control policies and requirements. CPA firms will have quality control policies and procedures. Remember, it is the responsibility of the firm to have their quality control and to have a process for client acceptance. We're not just going to accept every single person who comes along. These policies and procedures exist to minimize the likelihood of associations with clients whose management lacks integrity. Super important. We want to work with people who have integrity, and we don't want to lack integrity ourselves. As we mentioned, firms are required to adopt these systems of quality control, and mentioning anything twice, probably pretty important. I would take note of that. So the firms, it's their responsibility, plus they're required to do it. Quality control standards relate to the firm's practice as a whole, and they apply to everything. Auditing, attestation, accounting, review services. Now, these generally accepted auditing standards relate to an individual engagement. Just repeating that, these standards apply to the practice as a whole. However, standards on how to conduct your audit, generally accepted auditing standards, relate to the individual engagement. Whereas you may have a standard process for no matter what engagement. Yeah, we need to interview you. We need to see if you're a good client. We need to ask around and see if anyone has heard that you've committed fraud. But then how do we exactly audit a particular entity? That's going to be just related to that individual engagement. While a firm may have not adopted an appropriate system of quality control, it can still be in compliance with professional standards as they relate to individual engagements. That's important because we may not be in compliance. We may not have an appropriate system of quality control, but we may be conducting individual engagements properly. That makes sense, right? You might be doing an audit perfectly, by the books, not a single step out of line. You're doing a perfect audit, but we just have not adopted the system of quality control, which is a problem, and we need to address that. But just a note here, we can still be in compliance with the individual engagement and not be in compliance overall. That might be something you see as a question, and I'd make a note of that. Adopting an effective quality control system increases the likelihood of compliance with professional standards within individual engagements. We see here, while we may not be, and generally speaking, you'd say it's harder, right? If we are not in compliance overall with all of our quality control on how we hire people, if we are hiring adequate, competent people, then that will trickle down and affect our ability to conduct individual engagements. So yes, adopting this effective quality control system will increase the likelihood of compliance with professional standards within the individual engagements. Let's see here, the nature and extent of a CPA's firm's quality control procedures depend on the firm's size, nature of the firm's practice, cost-benefit factors. I've worked at both Big Four firms as well as small accounting firms, and yes, I can attest to that. You may have a small firm with 50 people. That's not nearly going to have as many quality control procedures as, let's say, a massive firm, and that's okay. That's quite all right. Just like management in a client, an audit client, adjusting their financial statements, it's a cost-benefit analysis. If a client knows that they're off by $1,000, it may be more expensive to just adjust that $1,000 if they're a multi-billion-dollar company than it would be to just leave it. So cost-benefit analysis, smaller firms are going to do their best to keep up with this, and they'll have quality control procedures that fit their size of clients.
Hey there! Are you ready to not only pass your CPA exams, but truly understand and enjoy the material while studying? I know it seems impossible, right? Especially to enjoy the material? We'll do it together. Tap into the power of CPA.examprep.ai, where we've got personalized quizzes, multiple choice questions, memorization guides, flashcards, simulations, all tailored to your learning. Our adaptive study planning puts you on the fastest path to success and lifts you back up if you fall behind. Avoid wasting your precious time and money attempting an exam with a low chance of passing, because who wants that? We want to get you through this process as quick as possible. Our exam readiness prediction lets you walk in with confidence, knowing that you're prepared for success on exam day. Thankfully, there's no payment method needed to get started, so why don't you come join us? Visit cpa.examprep.ai and let's achieve your exam success together.